Guys, it's just you and me tonight. It's Tuesday night, Proper Royals Live. I got a banger of a show, and I know that it is because you all basically wrote the show prep for me. So I can't wait to get to it. And yes, the weather is beautiful outside. It feels like these are the good old days. Let's go enjoy some time together. Thanks for being here. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for being here on a Tuesday night. I'm feeling good. I was feeling a little bit ill last night, I have to say. And I got like 12 hours of sleep and I woke up like whole new man. I don't know if I was just exhausted or I don't really know if like 24-hour bugs are a real thing or what. Maybe I was just exhausted. Maybe I was just pushing myself. But anyway, those days are behind me, as in yesterday. So thank you all for being here. I wasn't joking on the intro there. I posted two. It's like a hack for you if you want to get some Instagram interaction. Go to some report or data point on MorphMarket. Take a screenshot, draw an arrow, circle it, and then make a statement that causes some discussion in the comments. That post went bonkers today. It's like 4,500 interactions on the post. Now there's only like, I say only, there's still like 40 comments. Like I apologize. If you commented, I haven't had a chance to keep up with the comments because I never get 40 comments on a post, so I don't really have experience keeping up with that many comments. B, like I got stuff. I'm a busy guy. Anyway, I will go back and I'll read all the comments and interact. It sounded like a lively discussion, which is that's the social part of media. So anyway, go check it out. If you didn't see it, you can, and I'm not saying that so I get more clicks or likes or whatever. I'm saying it because actually I was intrigued by the strategy. When I see success, I like saying what caused that success and can I recreate it? And I was like, it's a different kind of post than I usually put. Literally, it was a screenshot of MorphMarket and then a screenshot from a year ago on MorphMarket with the same data point, which we'll talk about tonight. Anyway, there you go. There's something to try if you want. If you're into trying things on Instagram or find value in growing your Instagram following, it's a little pitch for the Proper Royals Patreon. I wish I'd post. Actually, I have it. You know what? Speaking of screenshots with data points, I'll post that tomorrow. In the last week, 7 days, my Instagram followers went up 1,400 followers. So it was cool because I surpassed 10,000 followers, which is cool. We just like, what do you call them? Landmarks, which is nice. And that's fun. And I'm thankful for everybody on the support on that. In general, I'm not that worried about clicks and followers. However, when it comes to metrics and selling ad space and reaching people and reaching eyeballs, it's very valuable in that way to me. Proper Royals, though, is very important to me that I've always wanted to pursue actual potential customers, not just viral eyeballs. If you were to check out a site that I have called Proper Pythons, that has 137,000 followers. And that's just from viral wow stuff. Like that can be done. That can be hacked and not hacked. Like I'm not out buying followers, like they're actual followers, but it's viral videos. And I don't know that those are actual customers. Proper Royals, that's 10,000 curated ball python enthusiasts that I think are legitimate customers, largely here in the United States, and certainly legitimate community members from around the world. So kind of a cool thing. I posted a video in the Patreon about it. If you want to check that out, you get access to everything on Patreon for $7 a month, and there's no minimum. You technically could sign on for $7, check it out, hang out, say hello, and hit the road. If you do the next tier up, there's a $35 tier. It's all the exact same access and experience, except your $35 goes to store credit. I handle the Patreon fees. And then that tier gets first dibs on all the hatchlings. Then the $7 tier does. Then it goes to MorphMarket, ProperRoyals.com, all the other places that I try and sell. So go check that out. But pretty cool. IG changed some. That's Instagram. IG changed some settings, and they didn't make any announcements. And I just stumbled into it. But there's a strategy that is pretty effective, and I have proof in the pudding. So there you go. I'll post more on that tomorrow. That is not the topic tonight, but it was a neat little accomplishment this week. I had a good time on that. I was just looking at my intro. I think I love this song. I still love the music. I think I need a new intro. I got to work on a new intro. I don't want like a super AI or like the super manufactured intros. I just want people and snakes. So maybe, I don't know, maybe if you have a picture with me, or like if you like something that was tagged in one of my pictures, or just, I don't know, if you watch the show and you want to be in the intro, send me like send me cool pictures. You know what I mean? I'm really like, you know that I'm the host. I don't need pictures of me, like me being happy with people. That'd be cool. I don't know if you got ideas for show intro. Maybe I should put one together. That can be my summer project. May 31st is my next show that I'm vending in person. That is in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, at the Snake Discovery Show, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I hope to see you there. That's like 5 weeks out. So come swing by properroyals.com or Instagram. That's where we're going to have to hang out before then. I got some new super gravel stuff this week. I was pretty excited about it. I posted a picture because I'm happy about it, and I'm thankful and excited. And somebody commented that I'm skipping steps. Like, is that the new gatekeeping? Like, remember when the gatekeeping used to be that if you weren't spending $1 bazillion and your life savings on the most amazing thing ever, that you weren't doing it right? Now I buy something and it's not right. You can't win, man. Who all we got? Who we got in here? We got a lot of people in here. Look at you guys hanging out. I'm also like, I will go back and read the comments. I think I've commented before, like when I'm doing a solo show, it's hard to read the comments and engage. Although I want to tonight, because I need you guys' input tonight on this, because you were great in the comments on Instagram. But let me know what you think of these solo shows. Like I love interacting and interviewing people. I've also done nearly 250 episodes of Proper Royals Live now. I've interviewed a lot of people. Like there's only so many times I can ask, what do you think is hot? What do you think of the market? What gets you going? So like, I'm really, just like when I post a YouTube video, I want it to be inspired and not just posting for the sake of posting. When I have a guest, I want it to be, and they have been, I just want it to be an inspired conversation, not just a guest for the sake of a guest. And I'm excited because I know there's a lot of energy and a lot of new faces in the community. So they will build up. Guests will be around. I might have a guest next week. I've some invites. Guests are out there. But I'm enjoying some of these solo shows too, where I could just kind of get to it. And especially when I find something that clearly touches a nerve and is intriguing to people. So we'll give it a shot. Eric, thank you, man. I just got your note today, just a moment ago. I just replied to it. I'll get in touch with you. What's up, Aurora? Speaking of Patreon people, Lowe's, welcome back. Magical Morphs, good to see you. Good chatting with you earlier. Steven, how you doing, man? Steven, thank you, man. Yeah, 10K. I mean, I know you got a few more, but it's kind of, like I say, it's kind of a nice, it has got a nice ring to it, a good feeling of a landmark. Thanks, man. Dickie Foster was in early and came back. Jillian is the Magical Morphs. And Breeder Underground, what's going on? I appreciate you guys and everybody coming to hang out tonight. I got to give a little bit of a thanks. Like I found, so I was writing the show and like, I think the title on YouTube says like inventory down, opportunities up, market, blah, blah, blah. But the thumbnail says, are we in the good old days and we need to enjoy them? Are they right now? And that's that line from The Office where Andy says, I wish there was a way that we knew when we were in the good old days when they were happening. And I thought of that because I had a really cool couple experiences this week. Excuse me. And a couple people that I really look up to that I'm humbled to even like talk to me, hang out with me, look out for me, mentor me. They came by the shop, and it was really surreal to me to have people that I've wanted to pick their brains for the longest time, or have picked their brains for the longest time, or really looked up to what they've accomplished. There they were. They were in my snake facility in a car wash that I bought in this crazy idea that I could convert one of the bays into a car wash. And here are these people standing in it. And it was just one of those moments where I was really thankful and in awe. And I took a moment to kind of look back on my own mental journey, and I won't bore you with that story right now. But then I got thinking, like, and I know that I'm not nowhere in this show today, just preemptively, nowhere in the show today am I saying that the market is easy, that life is easy, that there's not challenges that people have. I get it. I'm by nature, I tend to be optimistic and look for opportunities. And to look for opportunities, you got to believe that opportunities are out there, which requires a certain amount of optimism. So, but I was kind of thinking back through where, like, Q4 was really, really good in 2025. Overall, 2025 was a down year for me. The fourth quarter of 2025 was my best quarter ever. Followed by Q1 in 2026, my second best quarter ever, when usually that January to March is usually a pretty slow time. Like, that's a pre-tax post Christmas holiday stuff. I was able to take a vacation for the first time since I moved to Minnesota, and local people in the community I was able to hire and trust to look out for my animals while I was gone. And that went swimmingly. So I had one of those thankful moments where I was like, Adam, you better enjoy this. This is one of those like good old days moments. And so when I was thinking that, I said, man, that's what I need to put on the thumbnail for like that hook to get like people into it. So that's where that came from. I'm thankful for all of those things that I just mentioned, and a lot of those are going to tie back into the topic at hand tonight. Also, sorry, one more note on what we just what I was just talking about is that Proper Royals Live is still going. I've got to look for the exact date, but we're not far from 5 years of doing this show. And I still am not sure what I'm going to do for like the 5-year anniversary. Speaking of benchmarks and all of that stuff, I got to do something. And I'm going to do something for you guys. Like, you all are the ones that keep me going and get me here. So I appreciate that very much. Along with you guys, I should say thanks to people like Palm Street that bring Proper Royals Live to you ad free. You didn't have to watch an ad to get in here. If you're watching on the replay, you will not be interrupted by ads tonight. At least not by my control. For what Google does, I suppose I can't control, but the setting is that there is no monetization on the Proper Royals Live content. And that comes, like I say, from Palm Street. If you're into live selling, check out that platform. Reptile sales are welcomed and supported. And then also from our friends at Phenome. How about that? They got, look at this. They got a blue tongue skink sex test. They got the hog nose sex test. That's getting some serious, like, chatter out there in the community. The hognose sex test. And then, speaking of serious chatter, for me at least, is the rainbow test that they just released for ball python. So rainbow albino test is now available from Phenome. Go check them out. Super fast turnaround time, super accurate science and lab results behind their processes and behind their science. So check out Phenome at phenome.com. We'll get to some of the other advertisers a little bit later. So speaking of which, here he is right on time, is Chris Eaton. Guys, you should go check out the Deeds Not Words campaign. If you go to thefatmannation.com, you will see that campaign there. If I can get on a little soapbox just for a second, I love the idea of doing something rather than just saying something. So aptly titled. It benefits Camp Freedom, which gets veterans that are. I think it focuses specifically on veterans that are disabled, but I know that it's a place of action for a lot of veterans, whether they're going there as guests or whether they're participating in operations or behind the scenes work with Camp Freedom. It gets veterans back out into nature, out into the wilderness. They can hunt, they can go explore. They've got this like tank wheelchair. So even if say amputees that would not otherwise normally be able to get to those places, they can go. The Deeds Not Words benefits that. What division point can anybody pick on that? Like, you can't pick politics on that. You can't pick religion as a point to not want to do something like that. There's different tiers you could contribute to, but there's also the tier that says you could contribute anything you want. There's a link right there. You can Venmo Chris directly. 100% of proceeds go to Camp Freedom. So step up. Chris is aiming for the biggest year ever on this. I think last year was a little over $7,000. He's aiming for 10 this year. That's with Jay as well from Greenline Morphs. And then there's a whole crew of community behind this thing. So go check that out. Okay, guys, let's seriously, how many like Starbucks or packs of smokes or whatever, like you could spare like one of those and throw a little change in the jar. And if everybody that saw this episode did that, it'd be pretty tidy sum of money. Actually, I bet it would put literally, if every person that sees this episode donated between $5 and $10, I bet it would put Chris over that 10K goal. Think about it. Try it out. Okay, there you go. Thank you for hearing me out on that. So what kind of got me going on tonight's episode, and what intrigued me was actually there is, and I regret that I don't know who it is because I can't find their posts now, and searching the Instagram feed for like what the content is I think it's impossible. Maybe somebody knows how to do it. If you do, let me know. But there's somebody that regularly posts, like almost like a stock ticker, how many ball pythons are for sale on Instagram. And actually, after the post I posted today, I know why they do it, because it gets a ton of interaction. It's a great hack. But so I see, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Actually, it was Sunday. It was Sunday afternoon. 24,982 ball pythons for sale on MorphMarket. Why is that important? Why is that eye-catching? A, it's still a hell of a lot of snakes. It's 25,000 snakes. But B, I said, I think this guy's been posting that it's just been going down and down and down. I wonder what it was at a year ago. And some people in the comments asked how I could look up that, and how I could look that up is not on MorphMarket. I went to a site that is called the Wayback Machine, which archives snapshots of websites at fairly arbitrary times, but usually 3, 4, a handful of times a month on almost anything you can think of on the internet, which is kind of scary. It says over a trillion snapshots of sites taken. So I went to April of 2025, April 23rd. So 2 days into the future last year. That doesn't make sense. 363 days in the past. I clicked on it, and sure enough, there was the information on ball pythons, and it was 35,000. So nice, easy, round number, 10,000, and a couple hundred less ball pythons for sale. And at the basic root of economic theory says, if supply goes down, demand or price will go up. It's not a perfect theory, of course, but let me give a couple qualifications. I believe, and I could go back to 2008 when I bought my first house, and maybe I'll explain that in a minute. But so in the past 18 years, anytime there's been a dip a threat of a recession, a war in Iraq, I'm not panicked. And I've said, this is an opportunity when other people are panicking, when other people are selling. Here comes cliche number 2 from economics that we all know so well. Buy low and sell high. If you can buy low, maybe you've got half of that cliche under your belt, right? So, yeah, Steven says, yeah, he remembers when it was at 55,000. So now so that would be at about 45% of its all-time high, right? So, so the qualifications to me are, is whatever's crashing going to become obsolete? I don't know. I don't know enough about tech stuff, but is a X computer chip maker crashing because somebody has made them obsolete? I'm probably not interested in buying that dip. I think they're going away. Every time somebody thinks that Netflix is going away, Netflix rebounds like crazy. I would buy full disclaimer, I own no single stocks. I only buy index funds. I'm saying all of this as an example. However, historically, if you look it up, every single dip that Netflix has ever endured, they have rocketed out of. As a general principle for myself, my own risk tolerance and investment style, I do not buy individual stocks. But if I were to, I would sit tight and wait for Netflix to dip, which I believe it just did. Anyway, what I'm saying is, do I think ball pythons will be obsolete or are on their way to obsolescence? I don't think so. I know there are many people that do, and that's okay. That's a time will tell kind of thing. And honestly, I guess in one way I'm trying to win because I'm choosing one side, and being correct would lead to better success for me than being wrong here. But I'm not trying to win against the person. And this could be a for each person thing too, which actually I want to get to in just a little bit as well. Long-winded way of me saying, supply is down, which will inherently drive demand. Maybe not inherently, ideally will drive demand, and driving demand will raise prices. Secondly, it's an opportunity to buy low, ideally in the hopes of selling high in the future. And I don't believe that ball pythons are going obsolete. I think there will be, there's a reason that they're a great sort of gateway entry reptile pet. They've proven themselves as that. That AI is not going to replace that. Maybe there'll be another reptile that replaces it, but it's not going to be the axolotl. Hognoses, they got a little bit of a temper. I don't know if you want to, a hognose trying to eat your 7-year-old's index finger. I'm not knocking hognoses. They're very cool. Just not my thing. I do think ball pythons are great there. That's a great foundational angle right there. So I could tell you all the reasons I think ball pythons are good, but if you're watching this show, you're probably already on board, or you dislike them so much that you've already decided that for yourself too. Either way is cool. All that to say, I think that dip is wildly oversimplifying the opportunity that exists right now. Now, again, to qualify, I can't speak to every market. I know the market in Florida is vastly different than the market in the upper Midwest. There's just going to be changes. I can't be at all places at all times. I'm one man. Tonight is largely anecdotal evidence, but I do want to give some very, very specific factual examples, because at some point, you could say to yourself, if my model isn't working and I hear these other people saying that the market is improving or getting better, maybe you say, what are they doing different, or what's their outlook different? Let me give one disclaimer here. And I know I've said a couple qualifications and a couple disclaimers. I had an experience 6 years ago I had been in restaurants for 26 years in operations at that point, operations of everything from the dish pit to being a food and beverage director for a literal mansion on top of a mountain with helicopter pads, PGA Tour, Ruby Tuesday, private clubs. Those are all on my resume. You can go look on LinkedIn if you want. I woke up one day and I said, this is not worth it to me anymore. And the most important two words in that sentence were to me. Restaurants still exist. Restaurants aren't going anywhere. They're not disappearing. They're changing wildly, but they're not going anywhere. I didn't want to change anymore. I can fully understand and not shame anybody who says this ball python industry, market, trade, hobby has changed so much. I don't want any part of it anymore. I don't want to learn how to have to do social media and how to have to do podcasts and how to list without actually listing on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, MorphMarket. I don't want any more of it. I can get that because that's what I said about restaurants. I could do it. I maybe I'll have to. Maybe one day I need to, and that day could be tune in next month. Maybe I've got to go back to restaurants. What I'm saying is things change and opportunities pose themselves in a variety of ways. And I think that those opportunities are present right now. But for people that say, this juice ain't worth the squeeze anymore, I respect that too, because that's exactly what I felt in restaurants. I don't say I'm excellent or expert at very much. I was absolutely an expert. I was absolutely very sought after. I still have a consulting business for hospitality and restaurants. Okay. That being said, if you're not in that camp, I think that there's opportunities out there. Check this out. Here's some facts for you to think about. We talked about the stats on MorphMarket. Wow, we got some heavy hitters up in here tonight. Mark, how are you? Special thanks to Mark. That mail, you know which mail I'm talking about. I got 2 clutches on the ground from him. I'm excited. Thank you. For all of you watching, yes, I paid for it. It was a great opportunity. And Mark made some special arrangements to get that snake from Canada to the United States. Thank you very much. Some stats on some more stats, some facts here. If we dig deeper into the MorphMarket numbers right now, the number of wholesale snakes, I don't have anything to compare this to. This is just gut instinct, gut feel. The number of wholesale snakes available right now on MorphMarket. Take a moment, think in your mind what that number might be. You could type it in if you want it. I'm going to go ahead and Steven, that's correct, man. There were 2 years I declined going to the Masters to work at the Masters. It's true. It's factual. Thank you, man. Think of that number of wholesale snakes that might be on available and marked as available as wholesale on MorphMarket. What if I told you that the actual number is under 280? Not 2.8 thousand, not 28,000, 280. That strikes me as wildly low. And here's how it strikes me even more. Either and maybe the wholesale model just didn't work on MorphMarket. I don't know. Maybe wholesale works better on person-to-person phone calls and sort of backroom deals because people want to lay low because talking about selling snakes that other people are going to sell gets a bad rap. I don't know. And I never tracked that, but it seems wildly low. And from that, I could think to myself, well, people, because for a long time lately, people have literally wanted to give away snakes. People don't want to do that right now. That tells me that inventory and what's available is lower as well. Pretty interesting, right? So I thought to myself, how can I quantify that? I'll share with you this morning, actual email right here, actual email. This morning, I sent an email to a ball python breeder in Florida that I don't know the numbers. I've been there. There's 2 houses and about 20 trailers across the property, all full of animals, mostly full of ball pythons. None of that's an exaggeration. I think that there's 500 some clutches coming out of this producer every year, and has been for 35 or 40 years, literally since I was, learning how to ride a bike before the Wonder Years premiered. Okay. So I said to the person, hey, if I bought a batch of 30 from you, would you take 35% off the total thing? If I buy 30 in one shot from you, what do you say? This is today, 9 hours ago, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, the reply. No pleasantries. No, hey, Adam, good afternoon. None of that. Good morning. No. Here's what it says. Straight to the point. I'm going to read it to you. No price discounts, period. Prices edging up as they should on a lot of snakes. I'll always listen to anything you pitch. Sales are increasing because people don't have inventory. There will be a shortage this year, which is part of market correction. A lot of folks got lazy on people's overproducing. Thank you. We'll always take care of you. End of email. I know the person, this is how we chat to each other. It's all, this is just, there's nothing negative in there. And actually I was so inspired and excited by getting that email, because it's great for me to sit in my basement after working at this for 5 or 6 years and pontificate that I think, because of my wonderful restaurant life and smart brain, that I can make some sort of prediction. That's a dude that is literally, for better or worse, whatever you think about it, has probably produced 20,000, no, clutches, not ball pythons, clutches of ball pythons. He knows a little bit about what's going on in this world and industry space, and he's still at it. He's not one of those people that said things change, I got to get out of here. I thought that was wildly interesting. And I said so back. I said, you know what? That email is better than you saying yes to me. That tells me sit tight, do what I do, wait for those eggs to hatch, and go get to work. So I thought that was pretty neat. When I hear something like that, that person sends out a list pretty regularly. And when I say pretty regularly, like 52 times a year, year over year versus last year's list, there's a little bit more than 20% less inventory available than there was this same time last year. I have no idea if they produced the same, if they backed off production. I do not know. I can't quantify that any further than the simple raw data. Less inventory than there was last year in another spot, another quantifiable place. Okay. The other sort of anecdotal piece is I really like local and regional shows. I like Tinley. I like the AARPE shows. I think I would like somebody help me out, Siri, very, very much. Bob's show. I haven't been able to get there financially. That kind of, logistics work is difficult to make that worthwhile for me to go to from Minneapolis. Same with Daytona. I haven't been to Daytona in 3 years either. So I like those national caliber shows. However, I really like very well done regional or local shows. And what I'm seeing, and I do about my most that I ever did in 1 year was 26. And this year I'm slated to do 21, I think. And what I'm seeing quantifiably from my own sales and my own eyeballs is less ball python breeders at these shows. It inherently means certainly less competition, but also I think less inventory, which again funnels demand. So like I would say, if you're not seeing an improvement in the market, but you're still excited about ball pythons and you still want to find a way to figure it out, get out to a local show in your community and just see what's out there. Again, I'm removed now from the market in Florida and the Repticon circuit that I used to work. I can't speak to what's going on there, but from Kansas City to Minneapolis, from Fargo to Chicago, and any show in between there, like I say, the past 6 months, Q4 and Q1 were my best respective quarters ever. And that's in the midst of everybody saying that, we're done. It's over. So I think that there's opportunity right now is what I'm saying. Now, when does that pendulum swing back? When do we benefit from it? When does it get hot again? I don't know. But what I take a little bit of solace in, and this comes from that 2008 comment I made earlier. What I take some solace in is think about the real estate market. People make money in a buyer's market and people make money in a seller's market. Think about interest rates. Investors tend to make money when they can buy things at lower interest rates. However, other investors and savers make money at higher interest rates. They just use different strategies and leverage things differently. Who's to say we can't do that right now? If you're watching this, you're probably still eagerly, enticed by ball pythons, whether it's from a hobby standpoint or from a business standpoint, or likely somewhere in between. It's not all about money, but this is an expensive hobby. It takes a lot just to break even in the hobby. And we all have different resources. Maybe you don't have the space to breed literally thousands of ASFs a month. That's what it takes for my model, for what works for me. So I'm saying that there's different opportunities for every person, but think about how you could change your model. Think about how you can take advantage of this, because I do think that it's out there. Those of y'all that don't know me, my sweet spot is like $300 to $500 snakes. I deal in some. I think the most expensive snake I've ever sold was 2,200, and I sold a few of those. Those were Ultramel Clown combos, which I intend to make more of. That's cool. But I also sell, banana enchies to wide-eyed family owners. I enjoy that too. And I think that there's a future in that. And I think that's necessary as well. So everybody's model is a little bit different, but I do think that there's opportunity out there. And whether you're looking to acquire animals to breed, whether you're looking to acquire new customers because there's less competition out there, I think that's great. And I just think it's an exciting time. And I just want to encourage people to think about it that way, with a little bit of factual, again, admittedly anecdotal, but factual bullet points that I was able to put together this week. Some comments that you guys got super, super engaged in on Instagram. And I'm about to check out the comments right in here too. Sam, I hope to come back to Daytona soon. I gotta get a little flight money. We got a jet fuel issue at the moment. No, all joking aside and snide remarks, I do want to get back to Daytona. One of my biggest challenges, is leaving my animals, and I kind of was forced to do it with a family vacation, which sounds just torturous, right? I'm laughing. I'm being cynical there. It was a great way. Twist my arm, make me go on vacation, make me figure out how to have coverage. I got coverage. So it'll be a little bit easier for me to get back to Daytona. I hope so. I look up to what Mark has to say, second to none, really. Every breeder I've spoken to lately has said they're not breeding as much this year, including me. Phil says hello. Yeah, and then we got back to the Masters. There we go. Yeah, fewer ball pythons, fewer leopard geckos. Yeah, so we're on like this cresty curve right now, right? Like there's this weird like circular pendulum. I don't know if it's circular. This is pendulum swings in different ways, So yeah, there are far fewer leopard geckos out there. It's funny. I was just talking with somebody today about the leopard gecko market, which is interesting. Phil says less numbers, more quality is for me. Yeah, I think what we learned is first you got to define quality for yourself. But for me, what I've learned, if the past 5 years have taught me nothing, is that really I don't know if bulletproof is the right word. The most reliable is going to be beautiful, eye-catching snakes. And you can't make everyone that way. The odds and genetics tell us that. Excuse me. If you had this beautiful, amazing, super allelic combo and you bred two of those together, you could guarantee the outcome, but that's all that you would produce. And to advance that project or make it more beautiful for next year, or as soon as everybody's doing it, then it's less, unique, and part of beautiful is unique. So there's always going to be, and I hate to use the word byproduct because they're still animals and they're still viable and important. You got to figure out how to make some beautiful eye-catching animals, and B, you got to figure out and what you can stomach doing with those. And I don't mean nefariously. I mean, sorry, that sounded really kind of dark, didn't it? I mean, as far as business, is it going to be auctions? Is it going to be selling them as normals? Is it going to be saying, for example, an idea I'm toying with, here's a full beginner setup. Here's a beginner snake. Here is a combo price for both of these. And instead of auctioning or taking bottom dollar on a wholesale deal, maybe I could get, when all the numbers fall into place, maybe I could still get 70, 80 bucks for that animal, but it's in a package deal that's a value add on top of it in the form of, here's a starter pack and everything that you need. Whatever your answer is, you have to figure those things out. I think, just to speak to Mark and Marcus Jane, his beautiful animals, they're at a different price point than my beautiful animals because they're new and he's innovative and he's isolated new genes and he's working with new genes. But that's still the stuff that's selling. He's moving his stuff. My beautiful animals, I think, are, clown bananas, gravel clown banana combos that I'm excited about and make beautiful things. Super gravels, I think, are beautiful. So I'm working towards that, but it's important to me to say what makes people stop and go, ooh, and stop and go, wow. Like, that's got to be the test for me. I don't go look at what the MorphMarket prices are and what the genetics are, because I know that if it's beautiful and I can recreate something beautiful or add to something beautiful, then I'll be, then I'll be okay. So for me, that's the basis, and then figuring out what to do with those others. And that's an ongoing thing, and different opportunities come up. Palm Street made it, an option for that, auctions, all that kind of stuff. In the comments on Instagram, some people said, and this could be, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, that a lot of that drop was due to a data purge and a listings cleanup. So and I'm making up some of the time frames here, but for example, a listing that hadn't been updated in X amount of time gets deactivated or deleted, taken out of the pool, so to speak. That could be the case. I don't know the specs on it. Let's go all the way to one end of the spectrum. Let's say all 10,000 different year over year are from data cleanup. That's what the most cynical voice in the room would say, right? I think. Okay. They were there when they were listed. They're not there now. So that's still less. Secondly, there is, as much as I hate it, there is a reality in life where a portion of perception is going to be reality, because people don't stop and think things through or pick them apart for an hour on a solo podcast or comment on them on Instagram. It was there. It's here now. Inventory's lower. Maybe it's not a true year over year. Maybe there's been data cleanup and people producing less and people leaving and people retiring because they've had enough and they've done it all and they got to go. They want to go live and they want to have a good time and not wonder if they can get to Daytona in August or not. All of those things combined, I think the reality is somewhere in the middle. And I know that there have been listing longevity changes on MorphMarket. If nothing else, it looks way better than Steven commented earlier, the 55,000 that it was at one point. You know, it's not the hot button for Theo Vaughn to make fun of us as a community anymore. That's better. So I'll still take it that, you know, even if it's from a data cleanup, I don't believe that it's 100% from a data cleanup. And even if it is from a data cleanup, like I said, they were active at one point. They're not now. That's still less. That's still less available. So, but I thought it was worth mentioning because there is a factual component to that. I believe that there is. A couple people mentioned, well, it's tax season, inventory is down. It was tax season last April. It's the same. It's not a different set of settings or circumstances. That's year over year. So I think that that's exactly the same. Another comment was, wait until hatchling season comes, it'll jump back up. Yes, but last year hatchling season was still coming and it was still going to jump up from there. So even if this is a baseline, it's a lower baseline. Again, all of these things are that I see opportunity. There was one person that was, I would just say, particularly cynical. I hesitate because they were completely respectful. So cynical is usually like a really negative term. They were honest, just speaking their own truth. I don't know them well enough to know, like I say, maybe they were in their stage of life and experience where I was in my restaurant career, where I was just like, it just ain't for me anymore. It's changed too much. I've done what I want to do. I'm not enticed by the masters anymore. I'm heading out of here. And they actually gave a pretty graceful exit after being a little cynical to begin with. But what do you guys think? I mean, I like I say, maybe I'm preaching to a choir here, but I like hearing feedback. I like hearing thoughts. I like hearing where my thoughts and arguments have holes in it. I'm excited. There is, I talked about 2008 earlier a couple times. 2008, there was a little bit of a bumpy economic time in the American stock market, which trickles down to almost all of the American economy in one way or another. And I thought we had gone through the worst of it and that it was going to be the good time to buy a house. My very first house, matter of fact. And I was at a very different stage of my life. I had never invested, saved anything except the amount that I had for the down payment. So it was going to be everything, and my livelihood was going to go into that house. And then I was going to not lose my job and get paid my salary for a while and rebound. I did all of that. What I was wrong about was come 2009, came a crash that became known as the Great Recession, the worst crash percentage-wise since the Great Depression, some 90 years earlier at that point. What I found was I stayed the course. I kept my job. That was wildly important. I made sure I kept my job. I kept saving and buying those mutual funds, those index funds that I always talk about. Matter of fact, every raise that I got, I didn't even take it home with. I didn't take home that raise. I put it into savings and long-term savings. Some like retirement savings, but some just with you know, a 5-10 year horizon and outlook. To this day, that period from really 2009 to 2012 have proven to be the foundation on which the rest of my life since then has been built. In that time, shortly after 2008, my wife and I got married and I took a job in North Carolina. I went to sell the house. To sell the house, I was going to lose $55,000, which means that I was underwater about $54,999. I did not have that money to lose. There was literally no way I could sell that house. The only way I could take that job was to figure out, to change my model, to do something different, to figure out what to do with that house. And I rented it. And at the time I said, I'll just rent it until I can sell the thing and walk away. And in that time, I realized I really liked renting the house, and I started growing equity while tenants paid for the house. You see where I'm saying? when there's tough times and other people are panicking, if you can stay the course and you can look for opportunities, even things that don't seem like opportunities, man, when I wanted, I might have actually cried. I certainly wanted to cry, and I probably wanted to drink a whole lot and maybe do some other unhealthy things when the best price, I was stuck. I had the job of a lifetime that I was staring at, and I couldn't move in my mind because I was going to lose like 50 plus. And I didn't, it wasn't even that I was going to lose it. I didn't have it to lose. There was no way I couldn't do it. But then I said, you know what, I got to figure out a way, and renting it was figuring it out. That house became equity. I bought further houses from the equity in that. I sold them all, moved to Minnesota, car wash, ta-da, life is good. Look for these opportunities when things are down. That's true, Steven. Steven says, doesn't matter if it goes to 5K. People who just want to dog ball pythons will try to use it as evidence that the market is bad. Yeah, objectively, there are less than half available than the peak. Very good. I couldn't have said it better. Sam, a small scale hobbyist who just tries to have some fun snakes and keep engaging in the community. It's always growing for people like me, just having fun and working 40 hours in the office. Yeah, that's pets. And what Sam just said are the bread and butter for every person. That's what it should be. That's where like the spark is. Like if you don't have that, one of those two parts, we shouldn't be doing the rest of it, because scrubbing snake poo and rodent tubs is no fun. Like you gotta have a part that you really love and adore, you know? Yeah, this is interesting. Mark says ball python breeders are diversifying from other species, or with other species. I am a big fan of diversification, but instead of other species, I went to, I guess I went to a car wash, but I went to a car wash. All joking aside, the advertising and the media route, I will be honest that a lot of the advertisers keep me afloat or at least flatten out the ups and downs, as well as rodents. So instead of other reptiles, I went to rodents and advertising, and that has been a very valuable boon for me. It sounds like the diversification of reptile species for Mark wasn't such a good result for him. Steven says people can interpret the scarcity how they want, but if a buyer goes to MorphMarket, there are half the amount of listings that a breeder has to compete against for attention now versus the peak. That's a really important part. And I'm not just trying to, play a mark for Steven here. A mark is a wrestling term. It was WrestleMania weekend this past weekend. That means like a fanboy kind of thing. I thought of it of a slightly different angle. Yeah, there's less people and less competitors to compete against. There's also, let's just say again, from a really, really cynical standpoint, that 10,000 of those weren't actually available. They were just dead data that hadn't been cleaned up. That is consumers' fatigue. That means that whoever says that would argue that 1 in 3 snakes approximately on MorphMarket were actually not real. And that would mean that 1 in 3 of what the consumer was trying to consume, when in fact they did want to buy, they get told, sorry, not available. Sorry, not available. Like at some point, a consumer's just going to leave that marketplace if that's truly what's happening. I don't think that's what was happening. And again, I think the truth was somewhere in the middle. But think about the fatigue. Think about the bad first impression of somebody who says, this seems like a neat hobby. This seems like a great place to buy. These seem like vetted, reputable, review-driven sellers, peer-reviewed, customer-reviewed sellers. I'd like to buy something. If 30% of what they were running up against was not available, not available, not available, that would be a horrible experience. If it was 20%, that's horrible. That shouldn't be very high. So, again, less competition, but also less potential buyer fatigue as well. We want hot leads. We don't want fatigued leads. You want them. I want that. You do? Here you go. I got it for you. That's what we want. let me see. Let's see. Hist, if I recollect, I believe that's Daniel, says a fantastic time to get other species, same as ball pythons, the buyer's market all around. Well, so I'm wondering if this number at 25,000 for sale on MorphMarket is actually turning the corner to a seller's market. So in ball python, just in ball pythons, a little bit of a recap, just in ball pythons, the ultimate buyer's market would be a glut of wholesale animals, right? Think about it. The best buyer's market situation would be a vast overabundance of very cheap animals. Sure, we could want certain animals over others, but just philosophically and economically speaking, those wholesale buying opportunities they are not the same right now. I could tell you that. Like I say, on MorphMarket, there's very few available. I called one of the biggest wholesalers I knew this morning, emailed him this morning. He says, no, not a chance. There'll be no discounts, and inventory's low already, and it's only going to get lower, and there'll be a shortage. To me, that's turning the corner to a seller's market. Now, I'm biased. I'm hearing what I want to hear. I've got a car wash to pay off. I need a seller's market around the corner. So good food for thought. Hey, I have to, speaking of paying some bills, I got to pay some bills. But don't go anywhere, because did you notice on MorphMarket this week, and this is not bashing MorphMarket, I just want to have a conversation about it. Did you notice on MorphMarket this week, there was a little blip on the radar of a feature change and a change in access where it came to the searchability angle of MorphMarket. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stick around. If you do know what I'm talking about, I'm interested to hear your take on this. I found it very, very interesting. Let's talk about it here in just a second. Guys, check out Redline Shipping. I got to say thanks so much to Robin and the team for their support, but also for their service to this community. If you need service with your shipping, if you are looking for information on how to safely ship your live animals and have them arrive safely with great insurance coverage and great support to FedEx after the sale, Redline is your team. Check out redlineshipping.com. Use the promo code PROPER5. Get yourself $5 off of your next shipping label. And again, they have all the shipping supplies on their website as well. It's a great user interface on redlineshipping.com. BNS Reptilia, that is Chris Shelley, the original, very first advertiser on Proper Royals Live. He's still here all these years later. Our business and relationship has grown to where he vends Tinley with me. That will be in October. Every October, he vends at Tinley with me. Chris is Reptilia because he's not only breeds ball pythons, but blood pythons, locality, boas and locality, boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, even pine snakes, bull snakes. If you're interested in getting into the Pituophis, that's the bulls and the pines, check with him for the legality in your area, or if you need permits, he has all the information, all the paperwork to make sure that you could safely and legally own one of those. Thank you so much to Chris. Check out BNS Reptilia. The links for all of these are down below in the description. Sarah and Josh are Sundog Serpents. They're out of Orlando, Florida. We used to vend together on the Repticon circuit there in Florida, and it's been really cool to see them really flourish in their own lanes and their own projects that excite them. They love TSK Axanthic. That's their line that they want to work and that they're excited to work. They're working it in projects like Clown, very cool, but also things like TSK Zebra. Not too many people working that. What a great opportunity there. They have ingredients in the TSK Zebra and TSK Clown project available right now on MorphMarket or in person, like I said, most of the Repticons in Florida. Coming soon, they sent me this information this week. They've got clutches on the ground from their blood pythons. If you're local or regional to them and want to check out some blood pythons or see the parents, you can get in touch with them on that. Sand boas, and then they got a cool project this year. I'd never heard of it referred to as this, the Orca Pied. It's a Suma blackhead pieds that they have cooking in the incubator that they're hoping to hit. I don't know the pairings of the odds, but stay tuned on those. Go check out Sarah and Josh at Sundog Serpents. Again, Orlando, Florida. Reagan Renee, Royal Pythons. Go check out ReaganRenee.com. You don't have to type Royal Pythons after it. That is Charlie Ryan out in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And all of Charlie's projects are not all of his projects, all of his inventory is listed on ReaganRenee.com. Full inventory there, more up to date than MorphMarket, full inventory there. If you buy from ReaganRenee.com, you're going to get free shipping. If you go there and you buy a snake and at checkout, you type in proper 10, you're going to get another 10% off just for supporting proper royals in the community. That's very cool. And then also at the website, Charlie works in analytics and metrics in his day job, analyzing efficiency of massive production facilities. But he's taken some of that knowledge and expertise and created his own calculators that are pretty cool to see a range of options from pairing from a financial standpoint. Also, the benefits or the range of potential benefits and outcomes of shed testing a particular clutch. Now, on these, you have to enter in the financial information. He's not going to tell you how that, that something's going to make you rich or not. But based on the information you input, he's going to do a range of outcomes based on the odds and analytics, which is a pretty cool twist on calculators. So that's all free on ReaganRenee.com. Go check that out. Last but not least is of the advertisers here at the top is Keeper Kane. That is a YouTube channel here. You're already on YouTube. Check it out after the show. Keeper Kane is Kane and Michelle Fritz Wallace. They're down in Tennessee, and it just documents their experience and love for their animals. Kane and Michelle breed ball pythons. They keep big snakes. I think it's retics, but there might be some berms there as well. There's also tarantulas, aquatics, and Kane just finished off his rodent facility build, and that's all documented there. Always safe for family, always safe for work. Go check out Keeper Kane. And the newest banner down in the bottom right corner, it looks sharp, doesn't it? I like how that yellow and the green pop there. This is pretty cool. Vision, check out Vision Racks. Down in the description, there's a direct link to the new Versa rodent racks. On the website, it says that they're pre-orders and it's still a few weeks out from shipping. My understanding is that they are shipping out any day now. So go check out the specs. A lot of the innovations that they introduced in the Ultra series, they've actually integrated into some of the classic styles, and it's produced this new, they call it Versa series rodent racks. So the drop down tubs, you don't have to undo the water nipple anymore. The drop down tubs come straight out. The cut for the mesh on top where you feed through, that will fit any water nipple on the market that they could find. They've adjusted that for greater airflow and to just fit any of your preferred style of water nipple. They have food hoppers that are now integrated into the mesh up top. There's a ton of innovations that they've done really, really nice job on. I put out a video from Tinley that's on YouTube with some of those updates, and I should have one in my possession not too long, and I'm going to show you how I put it to use. So stay tuned on that. Go check out Vision. That is visionproducts.us is the website on that. And all that, like I say, link right down there in the description. Audience, again, thank you guys. Thank you. If you told me when I started doing this, in early, maybe it was late summer 2021, I would have said, hey, I don't know how that's going to go, that I'll be doing it 5 years later, and still here I am. So thank you all very, very much. You keep coming back. I will catch up on these, all the comments over here. Husbandry Pro, I think that's Zach chiming in. You're right. MorphMarket no longer reflects. That's a really good point. If you get out and vend, you are not beholden to MorphMarket prices. Even if you ever are, just think the buyer doesn't have to pay shipping. There's a nice little middle ground in listing prices plus shipping, etc. Yeah, you are right, Zach. I did not I definitely think of it when I'm vending. I did not think of that as an angle as well, too. I agree with you, man. Yeah, I have had people tell me that either I'm lying or I'm doing something underhanded when I talk about show revenue and what I'm selling. Show revenues outside of the massive national shows where there's just such incredible, intense competition. I'm telling you, regional and local shows that are done well, there's nice opportunity there, really nice opportunity there. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's the topic that got, look at that, 30 people still hanging out. This is great. So I'm going to try and talk factually because I actually understand philosophically where I'm guessing. I'm going to connect some dots that I don't know if they're true to be connected or not. This isn't a hit piece on anybody right now. Not what I'm after. Okay. Sometime in the last week, or maybe it was 10 days ago now, but I think it was just in the last week, MorphMarket put tiered and limited access to history in MorphMarket. For whatever anybody thinks of MorphMarket or anybody involved in MorphMarket, one of the things that MorphMarket does really, really well is provide a pretty accurate search engine of ball python combos, pictures of morphs, examples of animals in certain combinations. And I don't know about you all, but it's something that I don't think about very often. I just go do. I just treat it like it's Google. There is a price to that. I'm not here as an apologist to MorphMarket. I've spoken critically of MorphMarket before, but that's something that MorphMarket does very, very well and is incredibly valuable. The other thing is the access to sold prices. Let's take eBay as a comparative analysis for a moment. On eBay, you can go to search listings and, a 1936 Golden Eagle, maybe not gold, maybe that's not selling on eBay, whatever it is, I don't know. 78 Les Paul. I got one sitting on the couch over here. You could see, and then you could click sold listings and you could see what they've been selling for. And you can formulate in your mind if you think that the asking price, the comparative asking price of the item that is for sale is reasonable, or what you should price yours at. Or as Zach says, if you want to price them above that in live shows, whatever you want, you can use that information. And it again is something that I had taken for granted. I don't know. I'm not tech savvy enough. I don't know what server spaces cost. I don't know what the relative operating expense is. But what happened is, this going back to factuals rather than me surmising anything, is MorphMarket limited this research capability. And let me speak as a customer for a minute, fully transparently. I think it's $324 a month. I believe it's called, not a month. It's not a month. I misspoke factually, a year. And I believe it's called the standard plan is what it's called. So think what you will, maybe 300 is not that much. Maybe it's a whole lot. I've worked hard in my life for $300. I value $300. What I was allowed to do one day for $300, which I didn't see a communication that any change was coming. I won't say it wasn't communicated. I'll say I did not receive or interpret any communication. Goes to the next day. My limitation was at 180 days. So I could only look back on postings or sales from the last 180 days. So I had an experience very recently. Somebody I look up to, they came by the shop and I showed them some blackhead gravel, pastel enchi, but blackhead gravel combinations that I like. I think they're some of the most beautiful animals I've produced. Mine happen to be het ultramel, but just in general, I think they're beautiful. I wouldn't have those haven't been produced that much lately, other than I wouldn't say other than by me. I'm sure somebody's I'm not taking any credit. What I'm saying is there's not that many to look at in the last 180 days. The last 6 months, there wasn't any to look at. I couldn't look beyond that. And here's somebody I look up to saying, yeah, I love that combo. I used to produce a whole bunch of those. That would have been great to see and great to know about. As an example, I think this whole situation only lasted for about 2 days. And it got mostly rectified. Here's where it gets a little bit sticky for me, and then I do have lots of questions. But so when I say it gets rectified, as far as I know, I have the full access, or I think they're only going back 2 years now, which I have mixed feelings about because 2 years really isn't that long in ball python history, but it probably would cover what we need. It doesn't mean it's not like a history of this was first listed on this day. It's here's what this combo looks like. And chances are good that nearly every combo has been listed in the past 2 years if it's been for sale. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it being a little more comprehensive myself from a commentary standpoint, but really that's not my point. What did happen though, I think, is that free or unpaid memberships or just people bopping into MorphMarket, I think it's like a 7-day access now. Correct me. What's it at currently? Like right now, somebody will know. Oh, I don't know if it affects the calculator. You think the calculator's only, oh, as far as the links in the calculator, when you get the results, I hadn't thought about that. I don't use that feature that much, but I get what you're saying. So the free access is not there anymore. And I could see users who go, well, I had it yesterday, but I don't have it now. That feels underhanded and frustrating. But I can also see saying this stuff has a cost and I can't do it for free anymore. I get that part of it. What I didn't here's where I switch from like sort of a factual recap to some lessons learned for me, and then B, just me just opining, just some opinions and thoughts. To me, it seemed like a real miss from a customer service standpoint. Like, again, say what you want about MorphMarket, they're the standard for a reason. They're the ones that everybody either loves or hates for a reason. They're the Yankees. You know what I mean? There's a certain amount of accomplishment, insight, and business acumen that goes with achieving that. And even after it was bought, the same thing. It's still there. So I thought it seemed weird. It seemed odd that there wasn't a communication that this is coming. There wasn't I didn't even see it outlined for a little bit in like the different membership tiers. I just had to putz around and figure out how far I was allowed to go back on the results. It wasn't outlined in any of the tiers. So for me, the lesson learned is if you're going to change something with your customers, be upfront about it. I'm speaking as a customer. I'm speaking as someone who gives this company $300 plus a year, 50 plus 5.0 star rating, totally perfect ratings. I've been a good citizen of MorphMarket for a long time now. So I'm saying this coming from that standpoint. That seemed a little, hey, what if we just piss on their leg and tell them it's raining? No, tell me why it's raining. If the answer is, hey, this is expensive, we have to raise prices, I get it. That sucks, but at least like that's honest and people can make a choice from it. So it felt a little odd. Second level below that, what caused that decision? Because it's not that hard to say our costs are up, we need to make money somewhere. Let's just tell people. I think there's more to this. I think there's more coming. It felt like a little test to see what would happen. They have evidence of what happened. I feel like there's going to be another round of this. I'm interested to see what comes of it. Let me see here. What else? Yeah, Sam, thank you. That's what I got. Let me know what you guys think. You guys can feel free to comment, message me, hang out, all that good stuff. I appreciate you. I think that checks all of my boxes. Go get out there in the local community. Get other than this podcast, no, watch all the podcasts you want. That's a great way to be active in the community. Go in person. Go if your model isn't working, explore different ways to make your model or give your model a chance to succeed, or change your model so that it will succeed. I guess if you were only ever after this for money, then, and it's hard and you got to go, then you got to go. But if you still love the animals and you still love the community and you still love the things about it, there's so many different angles you can go at it. And I genuinely think this is a time of opportunity. And if I wasn't being heartfelt right now, it would be a whole lot easier for me to go, keep going. All of you is out of here. No, if you're happy and it's a good place to be, then explore different options and different opportunities. Cause I really believe from an I can't say unbiased, because I'm biased in anytime I'm giving an opinion, I'm biased. From a somewhat trying to be objective as I can, looking at economic principles that the history of capitalism is built on, I think this is a time of opportunity. And if you missed the first part of the show, go back to that, because I don't want to start it over again and drag you on. So with that, I'll say good luck. Thank you very, very much for hanging out. If you stayed for 78 minutes of me yapping on alone, God bless you. Congratulations. You made it. Let me see. I will not be at the June Tinley. It's not because I'm not interested in being there. I was already booked in Wisconsin. I have 2 shows that weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday. I won't be at the June Tinley. Good luck to everybody who's doing it. My table better still be there in October. I've already paid for this one. I don't want any shenanigans of hoops I got to jump through. I no need to get mad at something that's not a problem yet. I'll wait. I'll withhold that concern. That's just a little bit of concern bubbling up. I won't be there for that. But I will be around. Like I say, if you're in Wisconsin that weekend, I will be vending lacrosse and Madison Saturday and Sunday that weekend. It is a great time to be in the reptile hobby. Keep it going. I will. It was a proper show. Thank you very much. That's a handsome compliment right there. Thank you guys. Same time, same place next week. I'm going to land this ship and get on out of here. Cheers. Thank you very, very much. See you soon. Bye, guys.